Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another virtual Wargaming live battle report. Today I have a 400 point game of Warhammer Fantasy 6th edition using the Warbands rules between Skaven and Tomb Kings. These are two armies that I'm not super comfortable with. I don't particularly like Skaven very much. I don't like Tomb Kings very much. Undead is a weird rule and I don't like interacting with it. Skaven can be really shooty armies of death, and I find that's... I traumatized my wife with it one time, and so I've avoided the army ever since. But my goal with this is to give every army a bit of equal attention. I've got 31 days, there's 15, maybe 16 armies, depending on how you count them. So I can give them all 4 games, and that's my goal. So let's go ahead and jump in with a bit of a rundown of each army. We'll start with the Tomb Kings. So also, as you can tell, we are facing in a different angle than usual. So I apologize that our tokens are going to be sideways, but that's just the way that it has to be to make it clear which way they're facing. Because Warbands uses a randomized board layout and board direction, I try and hold to that, and then I make my boards without any clear intended deployment zones. So we can end up with at times very wonky things. I've had a game, Warbands go where there's a forest here, and my deployment zones are literally just those corners, which was interesting. But anyway, the Tomb Kings army, they're being led by a Tomb Prince. He has light armor, a shield, and the Death Mask of Karnut, which means that he causes terror. He is being accompanied by 11 skeleton warriors with shields and light armor. Other core units are a unit of skeleton warriors with bows, just 5 of them. 4 light skeleton horsemen, also equipped with bows. I don't know if they can change equipment off the top of my head, actually. I'm not going to check that. Doesn't matter. And finally, 1 Ashbati, which I had to go look in the FAQ, because Tomb Kings really annoyingly decide... Honestly, a lot of armies do this, where they give you, weirder descriptions of weapons, rather than just say, hand weapon, which is really annoying, and they're like, of course we just meant hand weapons. If we meant something else, we would have said it, but why did you say giant ritual blades then? Anyway, ranting aside, let's hop over to the Skaven side. So we have a Warlock Engineer leading the army. He is equipped with warp blades, an upgraded warp engine condenser, warp lock pistol, and the foul pendant. For those who don't know what that means, he has a gun, he can do some magic, and he has a ward save of a 5-up. For our Skaven army, we have 2 clan rats. 2 units of clan rats, 1 here, 1 here. A unit of 10 storm vermin up here. 3 poisoned wind globadiers, pictured here. 5 clan rat slaves, well 2 units of 5 clan rat slaves, so 1 down here, 1 up here. And finally, a unit of Jezzails. I'm just going to rotate these guys so you can see them, because I am really proud of the fact that I managed to slap 2 models together to make really nice looking Jezzails. I have wanted to do this for a long time, and finally kit bashing has made it viable. So, with that out of the way, let's talk about the terrain. I think I've had hills, I've had forests before, you know how those work. The rocks are impassable, these are obstacles. I think they haven't appeared before in my games, but they're walls. You can know how walls work. If it comes up, I'll explain it. But finally, we have this ruin. This is something brand new. I have not used this terrain piece. I made it back when I was playing 9th edition 40k. And back then, it was great, because, I have lots of little walls all over the place that can act as cover. You can have to move around them. And it is completely unusable for Warhammer Fantasy, is what I thought. And then I was looking at the descriptions of terrain in the random generation charts. And I was like, you can generate a village. The whole village counts as difficult terrain except the open road down the middle. And I thought about it, I'm like, well, what about the buildings? And that made me realize that, while yes, with an actual physical tabletop, the buildings would be a problem. You'd have to navigate around them or come up with a solution to remove buildings. But this is a virtual tabletop. These are just pictures. I can just put them on top of each other. So, this ruin is difficult terrain. Anyone moving through it goes at half pace, unless they have skirmishes like that Jezzails. and it counts as heavy cover to shoot into, so -2 to hit, and light cover to shoot out of. And importantly, unit models can see into the ruins, but they can't see past them. So a guy over here cannot see this guy, a guy over here, but they can see these guys. Actually, more practical example, these clan rats can't see this area here, but the Jezzails can, and the clan rats can't be seen by it, and the Jezzails still can. Hopefully that made sense. Alright, so that's my terrain covered. The objectives. I cannot speak, my apologies. It is 3 a.m. as I'm recording this, about an hour later than I usually get to these, but it has been a day. So the Skaven are looking to hold territory. That means that they need to have one unit of 3 or more guys in more table quarters than the Tomb Kings have those units in table quarters. And the Tomb Kings want to invade, so they want to get over this line. It's an invisible line, but I will draw it on later. They want 9 unit strength worth of models over this line by the end of the game. And ideally, they don't want the Skaven to be controlling more territory. So ideally, they'd have like 5 here and 4 up here or something to block both of them. But we shall see what happens. So I've already rolled to first turns and all of that, and the Skaven got the first turn. So now, let's go ahead and jump into it. We're just going to dive straight into the movement phase. So the clan rats are going to scoot forward a bit. Scoot forward 3 inches. And then they're going to have to wheel just a little bit. It's about 4 inches they've moved so far. Oh no, it's 4.2. Go another 2.02, so they're like, is it 4.2, 6.2. Wheel again. That was another 0.95, and they're about here-ish. And it's going to go a little bit further forward. I'm going to leave it at that. These clan rats, so they're going straight into the difficult terrain, so they're only going to get to move 5 while they're marching. But they go 2.4. And then I'm going to wheel them. And perfect. And they're just now aligned with this wall here. Poisoned Wind Globadiers. Okay, I'm concerned about doing anything too ambitious with them. That's what I'm looking for. So what we're going to do is we're just going to run them up to here. Oh no, the skeleton archers are up on a hill, so they can just be seen regardless. So we're actually just going to bolt straight towards the target. Warlock Engineer is going to bolt up to... let me check his range actually real quick on... So Warp Lightning has a 24-inch range, so he can actually hit these skeletons, and that's what he's going to be doing. So we're just going to move him up here. These slaves are going to stay right here. Their goal is literally they want to hold this corner. These guys want to hold this corner. Storm Vermin. They, I think they don't clip the ruin. Yeah, no, that's fine. Alright, so they're going to go 10 inches straight forward. I think technically they cross like where the image ends, but they don't touch any of the bits that matter, so I'm just going to go straight across. And that is going to bring us to the end of our movement phase. So now then, we have Warp Lightning on our Warlock Engineer, and he is able to throw 3 dice at it because of the Warp Energy Condenser. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and we're going to try and zap the skeleton archers. So 1d6 plus 1d6 plus 1d6. 16, that is an irresistible force, so he gets 2d6. Oh, sorry, he is casting at 9+ version. He will always be casting at the 9+ version. So it's 5 hits of strength of 5. So these guys don't have an armor save, so we're just going to roll 1 individual step. 5 hits that will hit on 2s. Go. And that is 4 successes. So we have just lost almost all of those guys. Jezzails. They do have line of sight to the Ishbadi. Yes, they do. So they're going to go ahead and fire at him. Jezzails have ballistic skill 3, so they'll be hitting on 4s. He is at long range, and they are firing from a ruin, so 6s to hit. So 3 attacks. They will hit on 6s. They do strength 6 armor piercing. He is toughness 4, so that's going to be wounds on 2s, saves on 7s, go. And they just, yeah, they completely missed, of course, they completely missed. They rolled 3 5s, so that's really impressive. An attempt was made. And then the remaining shooting is our Warlock Engineer, 10 inches range. He can't hit anything. Globadier's 8-inch range off the top of my head. They can't hit anything either. So that is going to be the end of the Skaven turn, and we are now going into the Tomb King turn. So, starting off, Tomb Prince and his Skeleton Warriors are going to move 4 inches forward. Keeping in mind, Tomb Kings cannot march, so this is actually quite a dangerous scenario for us to be in. The Ushbadi is going to turn a bit, and he's going to move 5 inches this way. And he's probably going to start trying to charge real soon. Our Skeleton Horsemen, they are light cavalry, so they're going to move out to here. So they can get a line of sight onto those Jezzails. And does this guy see them? Yeah, so they all 3 see them. So that's really good. And then this Skeleton Archer, he's going to get down off the hill and just going to move to here. Okay, so now then, the Tomb Prince, he's going to use My Will Be Done, and he is going to let another unit move, so we're going to roll 1d6. He's targeting his own unit. He gets a 2. The Skaven have 3 dice to try and dispel with. They're just going to throw 2 at it, and that's a success, so that doesn't go through. Shooting phase. We're going to have the Skeleton Archer. He's going to shoot at... he's going to shoot at the Globadiers. Is he in range? Yes. So Tomb Kings always hit on 5s, which is both really cool and really sad. In this instance, really sad because we missed. And then the Horsemen are going to fire at the Jezzails. There's 4 shots, they hit on 5s. They wound on 4s, they get saved on 5s. Go. No hits. Unlucky, but not completely unexpected. And with that, that is going to be the end of the Tomb King's turn. So, end of TK turn 1. I genuinely feel like Tomb Kings suffer a lot for being in Warbands. It's one of the reasons that they never appeared outside of the Battle of the Tomb of Caffrey, because I just sort of went, this is probably going to be a bad time. Alright, so, movement for our Skaven. We're just going to take the hill with these guys. Another 5 inches forward. We're going to move the Warlock Engineer up onto the hill. We're going to move the Poisoned Wind Globadiers forward, because they're skirmishers, they just go over that thing no problem. We are going to keep the Skaven Clan Rats here. I don't want to commit everything to this fight, just in case things go horribly wrong for us. Then our Storm Vermin are going to go up here, and we're going to wheel them. And then they're going to hold right here so that they can get rank bonuses and high ground bonuses if they get charged by the skeletons. And if not, I think they're probably just going to be holding this side or like sweeping in very late to do something. But I kind of fear that the Tomb Kings are just going to get absolutely stomped on today. So let's get on to our magic. This is the 3 dice going at the Skeleton Warriors that have the Tomb King in them. 14, so it can't be dispelled. 1d6 plus 1d6 again. Okay, so first things first, he gets hit himself, he gets wounded, and he fails to save. So the Warlock Engineer has already taken 1 wound, but then he deals 3 wounds to these Skeleton Warriors. Oh, and because they have light armor and shields, they wouldn't get a save, so we're just going to have 3 hits on 2s. 2 dead Skeleton Warriors. Understandable, not unexpected. Shooting the Jezzails, they're going to shoot at the Skeleton Horsemen now. Okay, so there is a wall. Let's check if they can all get a shot through safely. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, okay, these guys can all get shots through with that wall getting in the way. So this is just going to be light cover, long range. So still 6s to hit. And still going to be 3s to wound, or 2s to wound like usual. Okay, so 3 attacks, 6s to hit, 2s to wound, 7s to save. Go. Nothing. Expected outcome. That's okay. Honestly, they should probably start moving. I didn't even consider the, they put in here to be safe from the Tomb King shooting, and then I just kind of didn't think about the fact that Tomb King shooting could be a non-factor so quickly. But also they're kept safe from Tomb Kings, like, charging them, if they somehow do well. So I'm gonna pull these guys, and then Globadiers, 8-inch range. So yep, they have that, so they're good. Okay, so we have 3 attacks. They will hit on 4s, because this is a thrown weapon. They will wound on 4s, guaranteed. No armor saves allowed. Go. But there is one to hit. But that doesn't do anything. Okay, so he is only a little wounded. Now then, these guys are close. So... Oh, and the Warlock Engine, I forgot, he can also shoot. So he's going to take a shot at these guys. I'm just going to 1-dice it because I'm not feeling like hits. 2, let me check his save. Strength 5, so yep, that's a hit. Oh, 1 second, I didn't check the shots from, where is it? Yeah, these guys got a 1, so I have to go loop back to do that reliable. 6 to hit, 2 to wound, that's still a wound, 1 dead skeleton. Okay, so, real quick, Warlock Jezzails. You gotta check for reliable. They're good. Their gun doesn't explode today. Alright, so, 1 more dead skeleton warrior. And that brings us to the Tomb King's turn. Actually, let me double check how and when we check for terror. Because of course, our boy causes terror. A unit must make a terror test at the start of its turn if there is an enemy which causes terror within 6 inches. Okay, so what are we going to do? We are going to declare a charge with the Skeleton Warriors into the Clan Rats. We're going to declare a charge with the Ishbadi at the Globadiers. They're going to both have to take fear checks first. And that is going to be all of my charging this turn, because we are going to just be disengaging these guys from the Jezzails, and just playing kind of defensive right now. So, Clan Rats, they get to make a leadership test. 4, they have passed. Globadiers, they get to make a leadership test. 5, I think that's also a pass actually. Quite impressive, honestly. I did not expect that to go so well for them. Keeping in mind that their general's leadership is also only 5, so like they could just die very easily. Okay, so these guys are going to stand and shoot. So 3 attacks, hit on 5s, wound on 4s, no saves. Another wound to the Ishbadi, but he's still alive. He has 3 of them. So he gets in. And then these guys pile in. These guys are holding, so I'm just going to measure it real quick. Yeah, there's no way that they're not getting in, so I'm just going to move them in like so. Okay. The rest of the movement. Horsemen up here, so that they are line of sight blocked from the Jezzails, but they can still see at these guys, yep. And then this one, this lone skeleton, is going to go 4 inches this way, and he's just going to start taking shots at whatever he can see. Actually, hang on, no. If he goes this way, he can shoot at the Warlock Engineer, and if he gets a kill, that would be amazing. Alright, so then on to the magic phase. We are going to use Righteous Smiting from the Tomb Prince, and he's going to target the Ushbadi. So that is a 6, and we are going to throw... Okay, odds of rolling a 6 on 2 dice is... It's not terrible. Odds of rolling a pair of 1s on 3 dice is, off the top of my head, like a 1 in 3, I think. Whatever. I'm gonna do it. Totally fine. Dispelled. Never punished for making risky plays. Alright, shooting phase. The Skeleton Archer firing at the Warlock Engineer. It's gonna roll that solo. He hits. He wounds. He kills him. That is ridiculous. He's not a fanatic. I should really just delete this one, but I keep forgetting to do that. So he is dead. That is like 90 victory points scored for these guys. That's actually huge. Like, that undoes all of their early losses, basically. Horseman firing at the Storm Vermin. 4 attacks, hit on 5s, wound on 4s, save on 5s. Go. Still nothing. Not unexpected. Let's get into the combat. So the Poison Wind Globadiers, just regular weapon skill 3, strength 3. Just your bog standard boys, it looks like. Ushbadi, weapon skill 4, strength 6. So he makes 3 attacks that hit on 3s, that wound on 2s, and save on 7s. Go. And he has missed with all of them. Okay, the Skaven get to hit back. They make 3 attacks, they hit on 4s, they will wound on 5s, and he saves on 5s. Go. Nothing. Okay, so this is going to end up being a tie, because he is equal numbers with them. That is interesting. That is actually quite bad, because the Jezzails will happily just fire into that combat. Okay, next up, Skeleton Warriors and the Tomb Prince. I'm going to do the Skeleton Warriors first. 3 attacks. They'll hit on 4s, they'll wound on 4s. The Skavens have regular light armor and shield, so they'll wound on 4s as well. And then Tomb Prince. 3 attacks. He hits on 3s, he wounds on 3s, he saves on 5s. Go. 1 dead clan rat. That's very good for the skeletons. Now we have 4 attacks going into skeletons in return. 4 attacks, hit on 4s, wound on 4s, save on 4s. Go. 1 dead skeleton warrior. Okay, so that is going to be 1 rank bonus, 1 rank bonus, 1 wound each, outnumber. An extra skeleton warrior dies to the pressure, to the combat resolution. But we are down this guy as well. And there is nothing happening here. Okay, so Skaven turn... Okay, so end of turn 2. Let's see then. We are going to push our Skaven forward. I don't know if off the top of my head if you can march over obstacles. I'm going to say that you can. I am going to say that it cuts the same amount that it would cut off normally if you were marching, so I believe it's half of your movement characteristic. Actually, I'm going to check obstacle rules real quick. I will be back in a moment. Alright, I am back. And yes, it is you sacrifice half your movement, so in this case it would be 2.5 inches. Because we are marching, it will be 5 inches of the movement is sacrificed to go over. But they basically get to go to here. And then next turn they'll be able to cross the other one and then start threatening the skeleton horseman properly. Other movement, honestly, is not necessary right now. So we have Jezzails, and we're going to fire them at the Ushbadi, who I'm going to say he can be seen over the unit, even though, like, arguably he can't, but, like, he's a big boy. It's fine. So that is going to be 3 attacks. Still at long range. Yeah, I'm going to call all of them at long range. So that's going to be 6s to hit. 3 attacks, hit on 6s. Oh wait, I'm going to individual roll step this because I know I have to check if they hit allies. 1 success. And unfortunately, I once again have to disappear to go check the Skaven rules for shooting at units in combat. Alright, and I have returned. So we're just going to check if this hits a friend or the guy. It hits the Ushbadi. It wounds the Ushbadi. That kills the Ushbadi. So now that these guys are free, they could fire at the Skeleton Warriors. I'm going to say they can't. I'm going to say they don't have the line of sight for it, because this is a little bit more of a tricky situation to adjudicate. And I don't want to deal with that. So, without further ado, that brings us back to the combat phase. Oh, wait. These guys have to take a terror test real quick. I didn't even think about that. 7, yep, they have failed actually, so they are going 11 inches away. So these guys actually were never in harm's way to begin with, which is why the Ushbadi could get shot at. How convenient that everything turned out the way it did. And then these guys had to take the terror test for being charged, and they passed, so they're totally fine. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this going. Skaven, I'm fairly certain, go first, but I'm going to double check that real quick. Clan Rats Initiative 4, Tomb Prince Initiative 3. Okay, so they get 5 attacks, and we're dumping all of them into the Skeleton Warriors. We want that combat res bonus to just try and steamroll through. Skeleton Warriors are only weapon skill 2 versus Clan Rats 3, but 4's to wound and 4's to save. Let's go. One more dead Skeleton Warrior. Okay, so next up we have the Tomb Prince. He gets 3 attacks. He hits on 3s, he wounds on 3s, they save on 5s. He achieves nothing. And we have 2 skeletons. Hit on 4s, wound on 4s, save on 4s. Go. Nothing. Okay, so then. Combat resolution. They have a rank bonus, the skeletons don't. They didn't wound, the skeletons didn't. They are... what's it called again? They outnumber. So that's 3 more dead skeletons. This is going very poorly for the Tomb Kings. This is just a regular basic unit of Clan Rats, and they cannot roll dice to save their lives. Like, this isn't even... like, look, 4 hits on the Skaven attacks, 1 hit from... like, 1, a 2, and a 3 for the Tomb Prince, and then, like, 2 3s for these guys. Wow. Alright, so that is going to be... these guys are all pulled off the board. I don't know why... I know why I do this, but I also am going to complain about the fact that I do this. Okay, so our Skeleton Horsemen aren't worried about the Storm Vermin yet, so we're going to fire at them 4 attacks. Oh, wait, sorry. So they're not going to move away. These guys can't move away. The Skeleton Archer is going to take to the hill as best he can. And then the magic phase. So the Tomb Prince is going to go ahead and use the ability to attack early. Rolls a 3. We're putting 2 dice into this. 1 in 6 chance of failure. Instead, we get the guaranteed dispel. Fun. I apologize if I am a little salty about the Skaven doing so well. I try my best to like come in with like a, this is just for fun attitude. Sometimes a game is such a stomp though. It is hard to just keep that that attitude going, if that makes sense. Like, you just hit a point where you're like, wow, why am I even here playing this game right this second? So we're shooting at the Storm Vermin. We have successfully killed 1 of them. And this Skeleton Archer, he can see... not that. He can't see that. He can't actually see anything, so he's going to just end his turn. And then this time, I think we have to move these guys over, actually, because we need to maximize. So 5 attacks from our Skavens. They hit on 3s. They're all going into Skeleton Warriors. Our goal is just to combat res the guy down, the Tomb Prince down. 1 dead Skeleton Warrior. Tomb Prince strikes back. 3s, 3s, 5s, go. He does something amazing. And then he rolls 1d6. Roll 1d6 for the skeleton. He misses. Alright, so combat resolution. Combat rank bonus. Outnumber. So that's that 1 guy dead. And then 1 wound to the Tomb Prince. And ideally here, honestly, that the Tomb Prince actually gets beaten down in the next turn, so that the curse doesn't hit the whole unit. But we shall see, and that is the end of TK turn 3. Alright, so now we have the Poison Wing Globadiers. They're going to make their leadership test. 7, they fail. And then they go another 6 inches towards the edge of the board. You know, there is still hope if somehow the Tomb Prince... Well, no, not really. Actually, yeah, the Tomb Prince can just theoretically, if he can kill 2 guys, and they don't do any wounds back to him, then he can send them fleeing. And if he can send them fleeing, he can then overrun over here, try and move over to these clan rats, tear them down. There's a world in which they win this. It's a very unlikely world. One I would not put money on if I were a betting man, but like, it exists. Yeah, so those guys were definitely able to march. So next turn they're threatening a charge on these guys. I'm just going to hold here. Honestly, there is absolutely no reason to move anything. That said, the Jezzails are going to move up, so they're going to move 10 inches closer. And they're basically just going to be like watching this side for these guys to come out, so they can try and shoot at them. Alright, so with that, there is no magic, there is no shooting because he moved. Alright, so we just straight onto the clan rats, and then we have 3 attacks that hit on 4s, that wound on 6s, and that get saved on, this is a light armor shield 4 up. Nothing. He gets 3 attacks back, he hits on 3s, he wounds on 3s, they save on 5s, nothing. Alright, so he will take a single wound from being outnumbered, but not a wound from anything else because they've lost their rank bonus now. Alright, so this brings us to the next turn for Tomb Kings, and we're going to actually go ahead and move... No, we wouldn't make it that way. Alright, so it's going to move 8 inches this way, and then we're going to wheel this unit around, and we're just going to sort of like position them here. So we're out of line of sight of the Storm Vermin, and not all the Jezzails can shoot. Nah, actually all the Jezzails can shoot. Oh well, whatever. We did our best. This guy is going to move up onto the hill fully. And then we are going to get to shooting. So he is going to shoot at these guys. I don't know how far away he is from the Jezzails, and I don't want to risk it. Oh, he would have made it. Oh well, whatever. No pre-measuring. That's not true. I pre-measure a lot in these battle reports. I think the no pre-measuring is kind of... I get what it's going for with the whole, like, introducing an element of quote-unquote randomness, but once people get good at guessing, it just sort of... It just adds another skill check that isn't necessary and that isn't related to your strategy or tactics. It's just like, can you look at the board and say how many inches that is? And, like, that's fun sometimes, but I don't always enjoy it. So that was our shooting phase from these guys. I forgot about magic. We're going to go ahead and do that now. I forgot about the magic because it never works. In this case, we're literally going to throw 1 spell dice at it, and that's fine. Okay, so 3 Skaven attack. 3 Skaven. 3s to hit. 6s to wound because he is toughness 5. 4 up armor save. Go. Nothing. 3 attacks back. Hits on 3s, wounds on 3s, saves on 5s, go. Nothing. Alright, so he is going to die. And that is going to be the end of Tomb King's turn 4. I fear this is going to be another board wipe game today. But that's okay. I'm not entirely unused to that. Okay, so leadership test for our Fleeing Poison Wind Globadiers. They have failed again. I'm not going to go up looking for dice that don't exist. 11 inches. They're off the board. Okay, so like, hey, the Terror got 30 points worth of guys dead. That wasn't worth it at all. Alright, Jezzails. We're going to fire at the Skeleton Horsemen. Why am I doing this? No, I need to move first, don't I? Alright, so these guys... We're gonna reform them. Be facing this way. Form ranks 4 wide, wheel up here like this. So we're just gonna try and charge down that skeleton archer. These guys are going to go up to here. Gotta mark where this guy is. Wheel. Undo that. Are they outside of march blocking? They are barely march blocked, so that's 3 inches. 2 more inches. They're close enough that they can charge next turn. If there's anything to charge, there's definitely going to be something to charge. Shooting, these guys can fire. They are no longer in long range because it's 36, which is 18. Yeah, but I'm thinking it's only 30. Okay. 3 attacks, hit on 5s, save on, win on 2s, save on 7s, go. 1 dead skeleton horseman. Not huge, but not nothing either. Alright. And then the next turn, we are going to go... Alright, so the skeleton archer is going to go 4 inches away. Let's try and get 4 inches this way? Yeah. We're just going to play Ring Around the Rosie for all the absolutely nothing that it's worth. These guys are going to go 8 inches this way. We're turning. We have a mission. We are going straight for those, whoops. Straight for those Jezzails. So, shooting turn, clan rats being attacked. 1d6, that's a 4, that's a miss. My instinct was about to say, oh, that's a hit, before I remembered that we are Tomb Kings, we only hit on 5s. 4s to wound, 5s to save, go, nothing. They did get a hit, but they didn't wound with it. Alright, end of Tomb Kings. Turn 5. Realistically, the skeleton archer is going to survive. This is turn 6, we can't do any charging, so I'm not even going to bother moving. These guys, I'm pretty sure, are in the areas they want to be in. I'm actually going to move these guys 3-ish back, just to be extra safe. I'm going to move these guys 3-ish back to be extra safe as well. And then they would be obviously, like, rotated around, but I'm not going to bother too much with doing that. Alright, Jezzails, firing at the skeleton horseman. 3 attacks, 5s to hit, 2s to wound, 7s to save. I completely forgot to check if they rolled any 1s last time. I will do that right now. No. No wounds, but there is a 1 this time, so let's check. If reliable kicks in, it does! And one of them dies. That actually is depressingly more damage that has been done to the Skaven than anything the Tomb Kings did by intention. Except for shooting at the Warlock Engineer. Alright, so 1 dead, this guy. And then that is the end of Skaven turn. We're going to have the Skeleton Horseman charge at the Jezzails. Yep, that's in range, so the Jezzails have to make a leadership test, which they have failed. So they will go fleeing 2d6 plus 1 inches, 11 inches, but they, oh no, they're skirmishes, so they just go straight out, yep. And then these guys, 8 inches forward, they hit the wall, they stop there. And that is going to be the end of the game. Let's do some quick victory point tallying for all the not at all necessary that it is. So, 110 victory points for killing the Warlock Engineer, plus 30 for killing the Globadiers. And that is... Oh, no, the, technically, the Jezzails are fleeing at the end of the game, actually, so that counts too. So that's 200 victory points for the... You know what? 200 victory points isn't nearly as bad as I thought it was. And then 400 divided by 5 versus the 403 that they got scored on them. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not good, It's a difference of 200, which is like the highest amount that you can score. That's a massacre, even in the biggest game, which this is. Well, no, 500 is the biggest game, but 400 plus is the biggest category, and you need 200 for a massacre. But it's not as bad as I thought it was. To be fair, I guess, this is like, what, 50 points here, 50 points here. These guys are worth nothing. These guys are worth nothing. These guys are worth like 80 points. They're worth something. So, not a great game, but not a terrible game. And definitely a good game to wrap a day up when I have been awake for not awake for too long, but I was meant to start recording this an hour earlier than I did. You will see more Skaven, you will see more Tomb Kings. You will hear me bitching about it the entire time, because as I've been over, I'm not the biggest fan of these armies, but I do not like how many channels are just like, we have this one army. You will only see this one or two armies present in every single battle report. And like, I go looking for high elf battle reports, and it's like, yeah, you've got like maybe two out there. Okay, that's not fair, there's more, but like, you know what I mean, where there's like, you want to see a particular content creator showcasing a certain army, and they just like, it never appears on their channel. But if you enjoyed this battle report, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I know this one was short, I know this one was very one-sided, but hey, that happens sometimes, that's the nature of this game. And tomorrow, we have another full-size game, 990 points. I know it's a weird number, but it is because it is a breakthrough scenario, which means that you want 1/3 of your points value in the enemy's deployment zone if you're the attacker, and I'm picking a number that divides neatly into 3. And after some debating with myself, 990 is what I ended on. So it's almost a 1,000-point army, but not quite. And that is going to be between dwarfs and Amazons, the custom list. I told you all about this yesterday, so I'm not going to go into the details. And after that, it is going to be Dogs of War versus Beastmen. That's going to be a Warbands game. And then I will have covered every single army once. So we're going to be seeing a Little Lords game after that, where I'm exploring, changing the victory point rules a little bit to make losing your Lord still pretty devastating, because like, oh no, the powerhouse of your army is gone, but not so devastating in that, hey, you just gave up more victory points than the rest of your army is worth. Good luck trying to fix that problem. But anyway, until tomorrow, boy.